Well, that wasn't too bad. These three were fairly loose. They all have O-rings, so you're not depending on the tightness of the threads to seal. It's all done by the O-ring. This one up front, the unloader valve, was the hardest. But I like to use a big crescent wrench. They got big flat jaws. They seem to work very well. Either that or a flare wrench if you have it, but crescent wrenches do a pretty good job. I did manage to get the piston out of the unloader valve. It's threaded, so you can insert a bolt into it and just slide it out. So I'm going to replace these two O-rings. I have identified on the bill of material parts list, and I bought all my O-rings from O-rings on the internet. I think O-rings and more. Doesn't matter. Well, it was O-rings and more. I purchased all of my O-rings in bulk for everything I did on the back end of the tractor. I went through the parts list and made an Excel spreadsheet that lists all the weight part numbers or the sizes, and then crossed those over to the standard O-ring numbers. So I'm working on the unloading valve, which needs O-ring 6 and 8, and according to my list, 6 and 8 is dash 20 and 914. So I'll just root through these and find them and change them out. These are pennies on the dollar for what you get O-rings through the dealer. So and then you have a bunch of spares. You know, sometimes you have to order 50 when you only need 2 or 3, but the price is just, and when you're ordering a bunch, the shipping's it doesn't matter. You're getting so many at once. I think this is about $50–60 worth of O-rings altogether. And I could do 2 or 3 tractors complete what I've already done with these, so I have plenty of spares. Well, this tractor, we had a little problem. Hydraulically, sometimes when you were turning right, they would just quit turning, and it would also blow hydraulic fluid out of one of the remotes. According to the manual, one of the big causes of that is this valve not functioning properly. Now this was the unloader valve, the first one I took apart. I don't know if you can see that. You can see that O-ring is frayed, and it's actually square. It's shaped itself to the groove that it was in. And that's just the first one I looked at. So hopefully this will take care of the problems. Why I'm going through all the trouble of changing these. So, well, I have the unloader valve done. Now I took the high pressure valve. That's this one. Light's probably not very good here. Just unscrews and comes out, and there's a valve seat. You have to make a hook. Used a piece of high tensile fencing wire, 1/4-inch hook. Slip in there and it just pops out. So that O-ring doesn't look to be in much better shape either. So onward and upward. Well, I had the priority valve done. It was just more of the same, so I didn't bother recording. You do have to have a 832 to pull a insert out on a priority valve. This high pressure valve has a pretty good spring behind it, so you got to be ready for that. It comes out pretty hard, but I got everything changed. The only thing I haven't got changed is this one plug. It's a 3/8 hex drive. I don't have one that big, but I'm going to change it after I get it mounted on the tractor. And I don't have these two adapters changed. I couldn't hold it. I'm going to change those O-rings after I put it on. I already got this one done. So outside of those 3 O-rings, every O-ring in it has been replaced. So I'm just getting ready to put it on. I tapped out the 2 bolt holes and put some anti-seize on the bolts and get this thing installed. Now this is what I got completed yesterday. I got the valve on, a 3-way valve. I got all the hydraulic tubing on. Got it all laid in place and figured out where everything runs. So I'm going to get this squared away, get everything cleaned up, tightened up and installed, and then move on with the hydraulics, the remote valves. Well, this is the current status. I have all the cables connected, control cables. Purple one is the new draft sensing cable from Bunker Hill. I have all the piping in, all of the hoses connected. I'm just ready to start on the remote valves, rebuild those. I pulled these hoses back under the cab and refed them through in a different order. When they came out before, they were always crossed where they were crossing and touching. I don't know if that's the way they were from the factory, or someone had worked on it and maybe replaced a hose or two. I guess I thought the tractor might have been apart at one time because there were some bolts missing in the old rear end at this connection. The bottom 2 bolts were missing. So I'm going to make a keeper for that out of tie wraps. But I have everything done, buttoned up. Oil filters on, pump on. I'll tell you, connecting these pipes up and tubes up, you really have to start at the inside and work your way out. And if you need to get something on the inside, it'd probably be easier to take the filter and the pump off and work your way down to it. You have to drain the hydraulic oil out of the system anyhow. But it's just, access is so much better if you tighten them up as you come out. I know I had a tube I had to have replaced. I believe it was this one. I had to make me another tube, and that was quite a job getting it in there and getting the fittings tight. Just my experience. I got the remote block on. I got the hard fittings to get lined up. You have to take and clean, slide the nut back and clean and maybe polish and sand. Check the end of the flare that it's not oversized, file it down a little bit. And this fitting is as a nut, you loosen it up so you can turn this. Then when you get it where you want it, you can tighten that back up. But this tube Loosen the other end up if you have to. Makes it a lot easier to get on. The same with this tube. This goes up to the cooling line. So there's a couple clamps. You can loosen those up. And but they're on. Now on to the remotes.